Today we got cases. We got Fractal cases. They made the Pop series. They're in a whole bunch of colors. We got orange, green, magenta. You know, I like all of these a lot, but as you can see, I'm wearing a lot of blue today. I got a blue hat on, I got the party shirt on, I got blue shoes, I got blue socks. So we're saving my favorite out of the whole series, the Cyan one for... It's Cyan, right? Not Cian? I don't know if it's Cian or Cyan, but you know what? That's the one I'm unboxing today, because it's my favorite. Ugh. These are cool. So I'm a big Fractal fan. My last computer was a Meshify C, and then my current computer is a Fractal Torrent. And I gotta say, I just love their cases. They're usually super easy to build in. They've got most of the features that you want, especially if you're paying a little more for their higher end cases. But the Pop series, it's kind of supposed to compete. I think they're about $80 if you don't get the RGB. And then if you do get RGB, they're 90. So they go up about 10 bucks. Oh, this looks great. I love the color blue that they've chosen. It's got support for a 280 on the front and then a 240 on the top. I'd probably just air cool this thing though. I mean, it comes with 3 fans. You've got 2 120s in the front and then a 120 rear exhaust in the back. That's probably good enough. You could maybe do like another exhaust up here or something. Fractal and Fantex are probably my 2 favorites when it comes to cases and cable management. I think they just do a really good job. You can get this in non-tempered glass, so just like a regular flat look if you want, but I don't really know why you do that because you want the color. So you're gonna show it off. Whatever, that's up to you. How does this, oh, it slides out. So for the back though, it's not bad. It's not super nice. With a nicer case, you're gonna get stuff like rubber grommets around the cable cutouts. You might get more, I mean, this has cable ties, so this isn't too bad, but you might get like a more dedicated space to run your cables instead of just kind of an area. There might be like a much deeper channel here. SSD mount. There's 2 3.5-inch drive bays down here. One thing I actually really like is the drive bays are the same shade of blue. You've got a few other places they've accented it, like on the feet, and then on the top IO here is also blue. One place that I'm a little disappointed they don't add any extra color to is the front. They're going with their newer mesh instead of having, I don't think there's a screen behind this, there's no filter, it's just like a much finer mesh on the front. It would have been really nice to see either this cover here be the same kind of blue or the mesh itself be blue. I don't know if the paint particles would be too thick. A lot of the time you're seeing like the front and this side, you're not really seeing the back or the rear. And I really would have just liked a little, like one more touch of blue would have kind of brought this more to life in my opinion. But it still looks pretty nice. Honestly, for like $90, since we've got the RGB version, it seems not bad. I think it's a better competitor than something like maybe the H510 Flow, but I think they're just, oh, that fell off really easy. What's this? Oh, there's drive bays, CD drive bays, like holy shit. I can't remember the last time I had a case that actually had like 5 1/4 inch bays for anything. But you know what? If you still need a dedicated like Blu-ray drive or something along those lines, maybe this is the option. It's got a lot of storage space as well. So if you're kind of like a media hoarder, it's got 5 SSD mounts, room for up to 3 HDDs. Only if you don't use this though as the 5 1/4 inch bay. You can fit another drive in there, I'm pretty sure. What is this? It looks like an ashtray.
Yeah, it's a storage drawer.
It's a storage drawer. I don't know why anyone would use this, but to each their own. If you've got stuff you want to hide in there, you know, some illegal things, then go for it. Maybe it's a good hiding place. Another problem I have with a lot of cases is that the fan filters on the bottom can sometimes slide out while you're pulling it up from the bottom if you're holding it like this. And I could see that being a huge thing if you're trying to lift this case entirely from the bottom. So this whole front comes off pretty easily too, actually. Like I thought, there's no extra filter here. This mesh is so fine, you're not gonna get a bunch of stuff in there. You're not even gonna get many bugs crawling through this. Cool, so this looks pretty sweet, and because you can detach so much, it actually looks pretty easy to build in, which we're gonna do right after a word from our sponsor, Vultr. Vultr provides high-performance cloud servers, bare metal, storage, and managed Kubernetes at a fraction of the cost of big tech. In less than 60 seconds, you can bring your own ISO or deploy Windows or Linux from over 25 server locations worldwide for low latency infrastructure wherever needed. Also, there's Vultr Talon Cloud GPU, allowing devs to deploy fractions of virtualized NVIDIA A100s to handle even the most advanced workloads. Try Vultr today and get a 30-day, $150 code for new signups using the link below. Now we build things in this, but I need parts. Where are all my parts? Mr. Parts Man. Oh my God, here they are. At $80 or $90, this is one of the more like decent budget cases on the market at the moment. So we've selected kind of more budget-oriented parts, nothing too crazy, but nothing too super budget either. You can get this in a smaller size, but it's the same price, or you can get it in a larger size at the XL for $110 for the RGB version, so about $20 more, which isn't too bad if you want a bigger case for more stuff. I need my CPU. Where's my CPU? I don't even know what I'm using yet. Oh yeah, an i5-11600K. It's a really good CPU. You might want to get like a 12600K because it's brand new. Yeah, 11th gen is kind of dead. 12th gen is the new king, and 13th gen comes out pretty soon. So if you want to go extreme budget, we just did the $500 budget PC, and that used a 12100F. And honestly, for a 4-core 8-thread CPU, it's pretty good. Let's put our SSD. We went with the Sabrent 1 terabyte. We're gonna take the motherboard armor off. I hate this stuff, even though it looks cool. One of the only good things about the motherboard armor stuff, especially for your SSDs, is they come with a strip of like thermal pads. So they'll keep your SSD cool. But the reality is, most M.2 NVMe SSDs, unless you're doing like really crazy workloads, they're not gonna get that hot. Like if you're just gaming, you can probably just throw an SSD in there and it's gonna be perfectly fine. Pops in just like that, just like our pop case. So yeah, here is why I need this standoff. It's because the 2280 is too small for the one that they include, but then the motherboard armor itself screws down on top of it. So honestly, we could get away with just like screwing down this SSD. You know what, that's what I'm gonna do. RAM. People like how hairy I am. All natural, baby. Hey, I got it on my chest and everywhere else except for my head. That's how it works. NHU12S, pretty good cooler from Noctua. Yeah, this little guy. So this is great. One great thing about Noctua's mounting system is they use basically the same one for a lot of their coolers. What side are the screws on this guy? They're here and here. I want to mount it like this, so then I want them like this. We're just gonna go air cooling today, but like I said before, you can do a 280 on the front and you can do a 240 up here. There's not a ton of depth though, so if you're gonna do a top rad, I don't know, I would definitely try to install it first before you put your board in. Otherwise it's gonna be a real pain trying to screw all that stuff down. As for motherboard support, you can do ATX and anything smaller than that, so MATX, ITX, whatever. You just can't fit like a big EATX board. Oh yeah, I got my thermal paste, love it. Noctua all the way. Give me the drip of thermal paste. Did I put them in the right slots? Hell yeah, I did. Okay, cool. Good old Noctua. They make it real simple. You just screw this all the way down until it stops. It's tight, but don't worry, they know what they're doing. What kind of RAM is this? That's nice. Trident Z. 3200, C16. That's like about the sweet spot for gaming memory. Get in the hole. I'm just gonna pick it up by the cooler and throw it in here. All of our motherboard standoffs are already in place, and I'm gonna hope that they're in the right spots, because honestly, most of these cases just come with your standoffs pre-installed in the right space for an ATX motherboard. And yeah, because this has the IO shield, we don't have to put that in either. I'm gonna hate myself later for not plugging in the CPU headers, but that's okay, because this isn't a NHD 15, it's just a U12S, so it's not gonna take up like this much space and I can still fit my hands in there. Pro tip, if you go to screw your motherboard screws down and they don't bite right away, you're probably using the wrong size. I am gonna cheat a little, and we're not gonna screw all of these in. You can throw like 4 screws into your motherboard and it's not going anywhere. Linus has scared me before by only putting like 2 screws into a motherboard, but you know what? It doesn't fall, he's right, they're fine every time, so. That's the Plouffe guarantee. If you put 4 screws into your motherboard, you're probably good to go. Please don't, that's not a real guarantee. Please don't use that. Just always screw all your motherboards down, but like the reality is you're probably good. This is like the perfect example of why I really wish motherboards still came in colors, and I get why they don't, but this thing would look absolutely sick if you painted your board. If you could get a cooler that's colored, or something, or you could like paint it or whatever. Like, I guess that's why you might actually want an AIO in this, is so that you can like make the RGB pump all, you know, the exact color that you want. Jesus Christ, 854. If you're building a budget rig, please do not use a Thor power supply. They're a little overkill. This is an 850 Platinum. Really nice power supply, don't get me wrong. I don't know if this one, because it's the 850, I've only used the 1000 watt, but they should have like a power readout here, which is super cool. Yeah, it's a full power supply shroud, so you're not really gonna see it anyway. The cool thing is they report wattage being used in this little window, and so if you can look at it, it's just pretty cool. So I need these guys, I need our ATX, and then we're not doing any hard drives or anything, so we don't need SATA power. Oh, unless, the RGB on most Fractal cases that I'm aware of requires SATA power. So even if you're not putting in HDDs or anything like that, just have a SATA plug plugged in anyway. CPU, VGA, PCIe, peripheral SATA Molex. Boop. I actually want to know how many PCIe I need, so I'm going to open the GPU really quick. It's a Strix. This is another really nice GPU. It's only a 3060, but Strix cards are typically pretty nice. Like, this is a beefy 3-fan cooler 3060. My 3090 at home is not much bigger than this guy, and it stays cool enough, so whatever. As you can see, it does only require one 8-pin power connector, so we're just going to plug one in to our power supply. So this is the one instance where I'm actually going to plug in the cables first, and then I'm going to run them through the case and then plug them into the power supply afterwards, because the CPU stuff is just always a pain. Yeah, I'm gonna run these up here. And ideally, you would do this even before the motherboard is all the way in. And I'm sorry, this is gonna be hard to see on camera, especially because I wanna make this easy for myself. This is kind of just normal. It's not really a problem with the case. There is enough space for me to work in here, especially because my air cooler isn't super beefy. Definitely try to plug these in first before installing the cooler, because like if I didn't have this extra hand space right here, this would be a major pain in the ass. You're not gonna fit this in the back through here. So when you're building this, just make sure you give yourself a lot of room on the inside here so that you can slide it in. Oh yeah, it's even got little padded feet for the power supply, so that if it vibrates, it's not gonna make any noise like on the case. I totally put this in, screwed it in, completely forgot that I didn't have my CPU cables in, and of course they're all the way over at the side here. When you're managing your cables, the biggest thing to remember is like over, under. You never want to cross stuff as much as possible because that's going to add to the bulge. One kind of minor thing that I noticed while installing the USB, and this is kind of a motherboard issue because usually they're on the side here and it's perfectly fine, but in this case you really want to get like a right angle connector or something for this because it's really on the bottom here and it's straining quite a bit. Like I'm not even super comfortable plugging this in because there's just no space. Like the only alternative is to run the cable way out to get this more straight, and that just kind of looks ugly, so I'm not doing it. Our GPU should be 2-slot, maybe even 2.5, but it's not quite 3, which is good because a 3-slot 3060 has got me scared. Because yeah, a 3-slot 3060 is just kind of insane. What are you caught on? Anything? Nope. I just need to push. Cool. Plug our final power connector in. If you want to hide this guy, the easiest way to do it is to take it kind of like it is now and then zip tie it together behind the cable, and that way you can still see it if you go looking for it, but it's not nearly as noticeable, especially when you kind of tuck it under like this. I guess my one complaint is I'm gonna have enough room to cable manage in this without much issue, but it doesn't really have that deep centered channel that I like to see here where you can kind of smush cables into. Save like 5 or 10 of these for just whenever you need them because it's really easy to undo these. And the rest of our cables, we're basically just gonna stuff them back here because they actually kind of fit pretty well in there. We're gonna throw our front cover back on. We put our weird tray. I don't like this tray. I'm sorry, Fractal, I don't see the point. But then again, I personally don't really see the point in a Blu-ray drive either. It's a reasonably sturdy back panel. One nice thing that you could do to make this just a little more poppy is you can get like anodized colored thumb screws. Again, this isn't the kind of case that I would spend a whole bunch of money upgrading. I would buy it, build in it, use it, never touch it again. If you're willing to go and spend a bunch more money on the extra parts on your case, at that point just buy a nicer case. It looks nice though, I like it. Yeah, I'm not trying to harsh on the case. I actually really like this thing so far. Hey, there it goes. So it looks like I missed an RGB for the fan. That's okay. Once again, I kind of wish that you could get colored components and you can make everything like your actual dream color, or it was a lot easier to just spray paint stuff. Like that's probably one of my main complaints about this case is it's like 80% of the way there, but I really would have loved some more accents. Other than that, it's pretty good. I think that this is probably one of the best cases you're gonna get in this price range. If you want a case that's a good budget, that is colorful, and you don't really like the H510 Flow or other cases around the same price, I can definitely recommend this thing. I mean, we haven't like stress tested it in terms of thermals or anything, but the reality is the 2 intake fans at the front and then the one at the back, that's probably gonna do you just fine with any sort of like more budget oriented parts. And then if you really think it's not enough, then go ahead and like throw another exhaust up here or like another intake right here maybe. If it was 5 years ago, I probably wouldn't recommend spending $90 on this case, but considering the current market and how everything just keeps going up and up and up, yeah, I think this is a pretty good buy. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out the one Colin did where he built in a Fractal Torrent Nano. He put like a 3090 and an 11900K or something in there. It was pretty cool. You could fit a lot of horsepower in one of these bad boys.